All right, so Parker Porrill here now with manager Sam Fonda. Used to saying pitching coach. How are you doing, Sam?
Not too bad, Parker. Happy to be talking to you a couple months ahead of the season and just kind of getting ready to go. I think we're just under 90 days now, so starting to get real.
Yeah, countdown is starting. For those who don't know, Sam Fonda, originally a pitching coach for the Dock Spiders past two seasons, now heading taking up a new position as the manager. Before we get into the whole meat and potatoes of what this season looks like, can you give fans a taste of what this off season has looked like for you and what have you been up to?
Yeah, I think really a lot of the offseason in the early fall is talking to as many coaches and advisors and players as possible, whether they're kids or advisors, whatever, that are reaching out, looking to find a spot for the summer and then doing some research from there, or texting coaches that we've had relationships with in the past from a Doc Spider pipeline kind of standpoint, and seeing who they have that might be looking to play summer ball, who might be a good fit, and kind of explain a little bit of some of the changes in philosophy, or I guess some of our goals for this year, and seeing who kind of fits that mold.
How's this offseason been different from prior off seasons as the pitching coach? Is it just larger responsibilities, but mostly the same stuff?
Yeah, I'd say so. I think one thing that was really cool in the past is Doug, our former manager, made it a really collaborative effort. So we were able to work a lot together on the roster between him and myself and Jim, our general manager, in terms of assessing talent and reaching out and building those connections. I think everyone kind of brought something to the table. So it's pretty similar in that sense, where Jim and I have been very collaborative and our assistant coaches as well, that we're bringing in, especially Ian, who will be returning and kind of elevated a little bit to pitching coach this year. Having some of those conversations about guys that we like and building those relationships with programs. But yeah, just a little bit more responsibility when you're the one that sends out the contracts and is kind of making some of those final decisions on the roster, maybe a little bit more so than in years past.
Yeah, in getting to the staff that's around you, you mentioned Ian, Coach Ian Yunker returning. What does having a returner on the coaching staff, as somebody who's been in that position before, what does that mean for a roster?
Yeah, I think f from a roster standpoint, it helps a lot to know what Ian's skills are and what he brings to the table. So right now he's at Parkland Community College in Illinois, and he does a really good job there, working with some of the pitching projects from a developmental standpoint. So Ian's very well versed in the biomechanics of pitching and some of the more traditional change your grips, change your mechanics, work on this. Here's what the TrackMan report says, that kind of stuff. And so knowing what Ian's skills are and then what my skills are, we can kind of attack the pitching staff from that standpoint, and have a really good read on going into year two with the two of us working together, what kind of guys we think would fit our mold the best and who would be able to come here and we believe get much better while they're here, because the whole point of the Northwoods is to develop as a player, and everyone that is playing college summer baseball has something to work on. If they were finished products, they'd be sitting there waiting for the draft or something like that, or maybe get a couple outings in. But when we look at guys, it's what's the thing that they can kind of improve on, and is it something that Ian and I are well versed in and can help them kind of level up in that regard. So having Ian on staff is something I'm very excited about, and can't wait to see what he does this year in that pitching coach role.
And two new coaches joining the staff as well, EJ Taylor, AJ Jones, first stint in Fond du Lac this summer. What can you tease about them being on the being a part of the staff?
Yeah, EJ and AJ, I'm really excited about. I know both of those guys have offensive backgrounds. So EJ was an excellent hitter in college and played a lot of summer ball too. So he's really well versed in kind of what that grind looks like. And AJ too. AJ played a lot of summer ball, and both those guys in leagues that outside of the Northwoods. So they have some experience in other places, and but they at the same time have an idea of what it takes to win in the summer and to develop in the summer and make it the best experience they can. I know from an offensive standpoint, I'm really excited to have those two working with our hitters on a daily basis. I know EJ was a big slugging guy, so he's got a lot of kind of ideas for how we can maximize power output. And AJ from the other side, he's at East Carolina right now. Had a really great college career as well at North Carolina A&T is where he finished at. And so those two guys, I'm really excited to see kind of working to maximize power output with some of our guys, and then emphasizing a little bit more chaos on the bases and from an offensive standpoint, just kind of add in some traffic every inning.
All right, now tracing back a little bit, getting to you specifically, last season, we're in the interim manager position for a couple of games, and now full-time managerial position. What did you learn from those first couple of games, those first couple tastes of what it was to be a manager, at least in game, and now taking over full time? What were you able to learn, and what are you hoping to do now?
Yeah, I think when you finally step into those kind of shoes, and that's something that I had the chance to do a couple times last year, and then a couple times the year before as well, is everyone plays a really good Monday morning quarterback, right? They have a really good idea of what things should look like and how they should go if you're the one running the team. And well, I would do this, or I would put this pitcher in this spot, or set the lineup up this way. Um, and once you get into it, there's so many more things that go into it in terms of in-game decision making and dealing with umpires, dealing with other teams, dealing with the logistics of the Northwoods with pitch count rules and player eligibility and all that kind of stuff. So in game, it's not as simple as I just get to sit there and make the lineup and pitching changes and whatever. There's all these other tasks that go into it. And so having a really good staff around you and being able to delegate and trust your assistants with some of these other roles can make life easier and make sure that we're putting the best product on the field every day and helping players develop the way that we should.
Well, last season, the season before, it was pitching coach Fonder. Now it's manager Fonder. And when it comes to the manager Fonder and pitching coach Fonder, what's the difference? Is there a difference? Is manager Fonder going to make a decision that pitching coach Fonder wouldn't? Is there something there now since you have more control?
Yeah, I would say it's not necessarily more control. I always got to give my feedback on who I thought should pitch, on who I thought should be in the lineup. And now instead of just giving the feedback, I'm the one that kind of has the final say in that, the power of the pen. And so obviously Ian and EJ and AJ will have a lot of say in those things too. And I'm excited to kind of hear their thoughts as they see things too and incorporate them. But I would say one big change is as a pitching coach or even as an assistant in general, a lot of your job is building relationships with guys and making sure that they're as confident as they can be, and you're working on skill acquisition and development more so from that standpoint. From a managerial standpoint, obviously, yes, you want to build those relationships, and that's super important and not an aspect of what I do that I think will be going away necessarily. But it does take a little bit of a backseat sometimes to the logistics of what's going on in a game. So that's probably the biggest change is I'm not going to be able to be down in the bullpen with guys, talking them through stuff, getting them ready to pitch in game, kind of working on some of the here's what I see on Synergy or on TrackMan, and here's what we can keep working on. Those kind of responsibilities will fall more so on Ian as the pitching coach and EJ as the hitting coach, and AJ kind of working as an assistant with EJ and with us as well. So. I'd say the biggest change there is that those guys are going to take a huge step up in terms of working to build those relationships, develop these players, and put them in a spot where I feel comfortable getting them in the lineup or getting them in the rotation.
And for fans out there, Sam Fonder and crew in the front office have been hard at work assembling a roster, getting the recruiting process going, and to talk about and to kind of tease for the fans the offense that is coming. Last year had some heavy hitting names, highly touted recruits. What's the offense? You mentioned maximizing the output. What's the expectations, and how can you hype the fans up with the roster offensively that's coming to Fond du Lac?
Yeah, I would say offensively, we were really excited with what came in last year. And I know it's cliche, but there's a lot of injuries and guys that transfer and end up having to shut it down and whatever that derails some of your plans. So, but in a similar sense, I'm really excited about the pieces that we have, where we have some guys that can really run, play really good defense, and will contribute that way by being on base all the time, by having our pitchers not have to worry about what's going on behind them. And then we're going to have a couple guys that are in there because they can really drive the ball to all fields. And some of the places that we play at with short porches should be able to hit the ball out of the ballpark quite a bit. So it's really a matter of kind of maximizing that and pairing guys that can run with guys that can mash and making sure that everyone's playing good, smart baseball. So I would say this year something I'm really looking forward to is guys staying healthy and being able to kind of stack some of those pieces together. So it's not just all on base skill type of guys. It's a combination of some guys that are on base, some guys that can run, guys that can execute situationally, and then some guys that can hit the ball out of the ballpark. So I think from a lineup construction standpoint, if we can maximize that, it's going to be a really fun brand of baseball where you're going to see a lot more balls in play, a lot more stolen bases, a lot more hit and run, and then some spots where a guy's going to come up to the plate and you have a pretty good inkling that they're going to hit the ball out of the ballpark or at least hit it into a gap and allow us to kind of up the run total a little bit more this year and see some more fireworks offensively.
And to talk about the pitching side of things, looking at the roster, a couple of returners, but also some fresh faces coming to join the Doc Spiders crew. What can you speak to the returners that are coming back, as well as the fresh faces and what assets they bring to the team?
Yeah, I think first from a returner standpoint, we're really excited about the core that's coming back. So just a couple of those guys in terms of Tommy Guggens coming back, one of our infielders who's at Princeton right now and playing really well through weekend one, hit a bomb against NC State, his top 25 team. So really happy for Googs there. Quinn Shambo, who's a freshman at Oklahoma State right now and has been in the lineup a little bit here and there, and I know what he brings to the table defensively too, and the bat's only going to continue to come along there. Miles Vanden Heuvel hitting over 400 at Ohio State right now, setting the table for him actually the last couple days. So something that I'm really excited about there with him. So offensively, those are just a couple of our returners that I'm really excited about. And then from a pitching staff standpoint, some of the guys that are coming back, like Ben Caston, who's at Northern Illinois now. He was at Madison College last year. Zach White, who's at Butler, who I'm very excited about, and some of these other arms too. Garrett Workman, who's at Florida A&M, who will be back in the second half. Someone I'm super excited about. All those guys, first and foremost, what they bring to the table is they're great people and great leaders. And that's the biggest thing I look for in returners is how can we continue to implement and build from a culture standpoint going forward and making sure that it's a not just a productive experience on the field and that we win a lot of games and play really good, solid baseball, but also that we have a lot of fun. It's a 72 game season, and Parker, you know that it can be a grind, and it's sometimes tough waking up and getting ready to go play a game, getting back at 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning if we play a long game, and then right back up and at it the next day. So those guys are used to that and will help kind of set the tone for the guys that maybe haven't experienced the Northwoods League before. But really offensively, what those returners bring back and what I'm looking for is putting the ball in play and being able to execute situationally. So keep the strikeout rates down, drive the ball in counts where it's time to drive the ball, good situational base running. Even a guy like obviously Tommy and Miles can really run. But you look at a guy like Quinn who knows when to drive the ball, but he's also a really good situational base runner. So really smart base running and being able to take advantage of anything that an opposing pitching staff or opposing defense gives us from that standpoint is huge. And then from a pitching standpoint, Zach and Ben are two examples of guys that pound the zone, always trying to work ahead in counts and get us to 0-1 or 1-2 quicker than we get to 1-0 or 2-1, or at least more often. Gunnar Gilmore too from Air Force as I dig through too is another returner that'll be here for a few weeks that I'm excited about from that standpoint. And so those guys kind of understand that philosophy there and hopefully can communicate that to some of the new guys that we've got coming in. And those pieces of the game have been a huge focus in how we build our roster. So from an offensive standpoint, like I said, I want guys that can run. I want guys that can put the ball in play when it's time to put the ball in play. I want guys that can get their A swings off in counts where it's time to get your A swings off, where you're in a 2-0 count or a 3-1 count and you can hit the ball hard when you get a fastball that you would expect maybe in the inner half of the plate or something like that. So that's something I'm really excited for offensively. Drew Berrigan too, another one coming back in the second half who played for us in 24 and then 23 as well, if I'm not mistaken, the year before I got here and played really well. Won a postseason award, Silver Slugger, I believe, in the Northwoods League 2 summers ago for how well he played here. So I really expect those guys to kind of carry us offensively and maybe spread that message and then understanding to the rest of our team. And then EJ and AJ can help us optimize with those guys and then everyone else that's coming back as well. So that'll be really exciting. Sam Pease, Brady Blake, a couple other offensive returners that I'm really excited about. And I think that's a big thing offensively is good situational baseball and doing the right things in the right counts and just kind of playing the game the right way from a fundamental standpoint. And then from a pitching staff standpoint, guys like Ben, guys like Zach, Mason Bright, some guys like that, Noah Chubb, being able to pound the zone, work ahead in counts, and throw your best pitches in spots where it's time to throw your best pitches and have some conviction out on the mound. I know that's an area that maybe we've been dragging behind in the last couple of years, and something I'm really excited to see is get some guys in here pitching with confidence and trusting their stuff, and remembering that they're in the Northwoods for a reason. And if they weren't talented enough ball players to be here, then their coaches or advisors or even themselves wouldn't have been able to reach out, and we wouldn't have said, "Hey, this is good enough that we would like you to be with us for half a summer or for a full summer." So, really excited to see what kind of that blend of a couple returners on both sides, like 4 to 5, I guess, and then some of the new guys bring to the table. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
I think it's gonna be a lot of fun too. The roster, offense, defense, stacked, coaching staff, stacked, some returners and fresh faces coming back. It's a perfect mix, and fans, if you're not getting excited, I mean, it's hard to get more pumped up with all the pieces that are coming into Fond du Lac this summer. So be prepared. Come out to the ballpark. Make sure you watch the Dock Spiders as well. Tons of fun stuff happening with the Dock Spiders and getting to this season and this schedule as a whole. I mean, it's hard to pick apart a schedule just because every Northwoods League schedule that you could possibly make is grinding. There's a tough road, tough teams, and especially in the subdivision that Fond du Lac's in, you got some heavy hitters. You got some heavy hitters in I mean, Madison's always tough. Road trips to Wisconsin Rapids, Wausau, Green Bay, who just won the whole championship. It's a tough division to be subdivision to be in. But when you look at this schedule with the division that they're in and the more road trips than years previous, w- what's your first thoughts when you look at the schedule?
Yeah, I think it's so exciting. It's fun to play a couple new teams that we haven't got to play in the past. So Eau Claire being one of those teams, and we open with them on a road trip. I think that'll be really cool, and I love opening with a road trip as long as we have all our guys here in time. Is that's something that's going to be really fun. Road trips are just a great opportunity for the team to kind of build from a culture standpoint and bond and get to know one another. And so I think you can't really replace however many hours we're going to be spending on the bus together and in Eau Claire together. So I think that'll be a great road trip right off the bat and a fun start. And then obviously those in division games are so fun. It's really exciting to be able to play in Fond du Lac too is a great atmosphere and a great place to play in. So really excited for having some of those teams come to our place too and have to deal with us. But always excited to get to go to the Madisons, to the Green Bays, to the Wausau's, those teams that they're really good, solid ball clubs, and it's really fun environments for our guys to play in and compete in as well. So I think kind of looking at a schedule standpoint, like you said, it's some more road trips, but definitely a lot of fun, and it'll be good to see some of the same familiar faces from a opposing coach's standpoint, and play some of those highlight games. You know, going to Green Bay on the 4th of July is always fun. Those will be good, and a bunch of games at Madison and at Wausau where I mean it's really high intensity, and having those guys at our place too, back and forth. Those always make for fun little 2 or 4 game sets depending on how they're set up. So I really love that kind of setup. I like when we get times to play a Madison or play a Green Bay or play a Lakeshore or whatever it may be, 4 games in a row. That makes for just really fun, good baseball. And so I'm looking forward to that part of the schedule for sure. Getting to go to Eau Claire, playing some of those same teams across into the Great Lakes East, where we get to go see Kalamazoo, we get to see Battle Creek, really, really good teams historically, and we'll be excited to see kind of how we fare in those matchups and deal with that travel. Having lacrosse come to our place, having some of these other Waterloo come to our place and go to Waterloo is another new one too. But yeah, really excited for the schedule and get to see some new faces, but also continue to reignite and build on those rivalries that we have with some of the other teams in the division.
Yeah, the schedule, no matter how you slice it, that there's some fun games, but it's also going to be a grind with all the road trips in there. But really, if the grind doesn't get you excited, why are you in summer ball? It's going to be a fun time. Tough, tough division as always in the Great Lakes East, but Still, at the same time, so many powerful pieces coming in this Fond du Lac roster, and we'll definitely be up to the task in getting to this season as a whole once again. Last offseason, when I talk to you about goals with specific players, you always mention you set goals on an individual basis.
Mhm.
And with now being the manager of a team as a whole, is there any big goals that you've set or big ambitions slash milestones that you want this team to hit specifically? Have you set those yet, or are you kind of waiting to get your feet under you once you get in Fond du Lac and then reaching those?
Yeah, I mean, from a team standpoint, I want to make sure that obviously the goal is to win games, right? It's fun to go watch a winning game. If you're coming out on a Thursday night or Friday night or Saturday night, we want to make sure we put on a good show and it's a good competitive game and we're winning those games. I like winning some of those tighter games, the games that are within 3 runs, 2 runs. Those are always the big focus for us as a team. So that I think will be a big goal of ours is winning those close games. Because in the Northwoods, you are going to run into some stretches where you're either winning big or maybe you don't have enough pitching with guys that are down or hit pitch count or whatever to get through a certain series. So there are going to be some games that are more football type scores. That's just kind of how the Northwoods works. But having that focus for when it is a dogfight, when it is a 5-2 game or a 4-1 game or a 3-2 game, whatever, making sure that our guys are prepared for those moments and ready to win them from a team standpoint, that's something that we're definitely looking forward to. And then from an individual standpoint, yeah, that is where we keep a majority of the goals. And whether that boils down individually or as a team, I want everyone coming in with the expectation and the plan that when they leave, they're going to be in a much better spot. So going back to school or for junior college guys going to their next school, even more prepared than they thought they would be to be there and earn a spot and earn more playing time when they go back and get in a spot where they're being talked about as the guy that's going to be drafted, being the next Caleb Durbin or Victor Scott or Chandler Simpson. Um, and so what we do is throughout the spring, we keep tabs on all our guys, check in with them, see how they're doing, and start to build out some of those individual plans too, where in the month and a half that you're here, or in the 3 months that you're here, if you're on a full contract, is how much better can we get you so that you're in that conversation a year from now or 2 years from now? So I think that's really kind of what things look like from a team standpoint and as an individual or from an individual standpoint as well. And really excited to see how guys respond to those challenges when they are here.
Awesome, awesome. And one final question for you, because I know the off season's rolling, got some places to go, but is it still just Sam? Last season, Coach Fonder, are you upgrading to field manager Sam, or you still want people just to call you Sam?
Just Sam is great. Yeah, I don't want the coach Fonder. I don't want the Dr. Fonder in May, hopefully, if all goes according to plan. But no, I always like just Sam. I like making sure that it's a good personal relationship with the guys, and I like them to see me as an equal, and I like for our assistants to see me as an equal, and I think that's how we work best together, because then we can have some of those open conversations and can learn and grow together, because it's not just what I say goes or what one of our coaches say goes for the players. It's their development, it's their careers. So making sure we keep it at that level is going to allow them to make the most of their time in Fondy.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you, Sam Fonder, former pitching coach, now manager of the Dock Spiders. Excited to see you this summer. Hope everything goes well, and best of luck in studies and getting that degree. And hope to see you this summer, quickly and alive and well.
Thanks, Parker. I'm ready to get going. So get that countdown going. I think we're what, 87 days, something like that. So we're getting close.
Yeah, out of the triple digits, getting ready for some summer ball. Can't wait to be back in Fondy.